Hi guys, so if you've watched my channel for a number of years, something you may have noticed in the background, well, that keeps changing, and that's my paint racking system, or my whatever it is that's holding all the paints that I've got that I use to, well, paint miniatures. So some of the things I've actually brought in the past, obviously you still kind of like put them together, kind of like flat packed, from not quite IKEA, but sort of similar sources, and sometimes I've actually laser engraved and designed my own sort of paint shelves that I've obviously cut out and then still assembled and glued together. But one thing to say you may have noticed, or you may not have, is that it changes quite often. I reckon every 6 months or so my paint racking or paint holding, whatever you might want to call it, system changes. This is my current setup. This was sent to me by Green Stuff World. Yeah, it works really well. The only thing is though, it takes up a lot of room on my desk. As you can see, that's just an A3 cutting mat, so yeah, a lot of room is taken up by my paints and bits. So in this video I'm going to show a paint rack system which is currently all built, set up in front of me, which is absolutely awesome. Takes up very little room, looks better and works better than any paint rack system I've ever had before, and you can instantly see what colours each and every paint is on these little tabs. I don't want to give too much away because, well, you probably see it in the thumbnail actually. Absolutely awesome. But like I said, this isn't one you buy. This is one you make. So you will need a 3D printer to make this, or preferably, or maybe a friend who's got one. And as I'm kind of getting into more FDM printers, this is the perfect thing to print on an FDM printer. You might be able to hear it in the background because I'm actually printing out some more storage units with this stuff because, well, it's absolutely awesome. So the printer that I'm talking about that I used in this video is the Neptune 4 Plus by Elegoo, which was kindly sent to me. When they did reach out to me, they did say I could have the Neptune 4 Plus. I'll leave links down below, guys, so you can go and check these printers out. But if you've seen the size of the 4 Plus, it's huge. We're talking mega size. I mean, this one as it is pretty large. So this one does come in a couple of parts. So here's a quick little montage of me putting it together. But to be honest, yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. I know in the past I have moaned about FDM printers and the fact that setting these things up has been a nightmare, which is kind of why I went down the resin route more than these. But these are getting so much easier. So this basically just came in 2 parts, and then just a case of a few screws needed doing, and then just connectors being put in. But obviously the instruction manual, yeah, simple to read. Again, it's one of those things, if I can read it and understand it, then yeah, anyone can. As you guys know, and I say this every time, I love plug and play things. I think things that are easy to set up, easy to use, bish bash bosh, does the job. And yeah, this wasn't too bad at all. So about 10 minutes later or so, it's up and running. Yeah, don't bother about with a benchy. We just go straight in because it's like, well, if it can't print things straight away, then there's something wrong. So I've got my paint rack. Again, I'll leave links down below, guys, as well, where you can get hold of this paint rack. It's absolutely free. You don't have to pay for it at all. But it is one of those ones where you can't get a license for it to obviously print it out and sell it, which is why. So guys, message me. I know sometimes you guys do, which is fine. I love messages. I can't print this out and make it for anyone. So you will need your own printer, or say if you got a mate or a friend or whatever, you can print this out. Awesome. So yeah, I printed out quite a few of these to say, honestly, guys. This is the best paint rack I've ever had. It takes up minimal space, and as you see from the thumbnail, all the paint's in its little slidey slot holes. Sounds a bit rude. Got little buttons that you push, and the the paint just comes out. And with those little buttons, you can paint those to the colour of, well, what the paint looks like. You'll see me go through that in a minute in the video anyway. This is obviously well sped up. Yeah, this thing isn't this quick. That is still the downside though to FDM printers as opposed to resin ones. They do take a lot longer. But then it's just a case of you set things off to print and you go off and do other stuff. Like I'm always saying, I have about 3-4 projects on any go at any moment. So when something is like this printing, yeah, I'm working on something else. So I'm always being kept busy, which is cool. But this is the bit I do love about FDM printers now, and say I'm getting so excited about them because you can make all sorts of stuff. They're obviously, it's made of a different kind of plastic to resin, and this stuff is a lot more It's got a lot more give to it. You don't feel like you're going to break bits or snap bits. So like these little connectors, they slot in and then they sort of just clip down the bottom. So they're in nice and snug, but they can be taken back out. So these are these little sort of buttony kind of what's it things. They just sort of rest in there. And then the paint goes on the top, so that keeps the button up nice and neat. But yes, they fit in really perfectly. It's nice to have them on their side. But obviously, as you can see, all the paints I have, I paint the lids. And also the reason for that is I like to see exactly how this paint is going to look. And when I say I paint the lids, I slap chop paint the lids. So all these lids were primed in black, then dry brushed in white, and then painted, just so I can see what the colour is. And you'll see me do exactly the same as that on those little tabs that they're resting on. And again, this thing's built really, really well, as in it interlocks. So again, guys, don't forget to check out the link down below. I would say the guy's name, I've forgotten it, but I will include the link to where you can get hold of the STL files for this. I say modular, another word we all love. But in this case, rather than modular terrain, it's modular paint rack. So it all slots in together, hooks together, and then you get this. Choo-choo! I don't know, I'm mad. So loads of paints go on this. But as you can see, it doesn't take up a lot of room, as in depth, which is really nice. You can have this thing going as high as you want. So say, push the little button, it comes out a tree. Absolutely awesome. All I need to do now is with these little tabs, buttons, whatever you might want to call them, is I'm going to paint the ends of each of them with the colour of that paint, or the corresponding paint. Just again, so instantly I can see, so I'm painting something and I want a green. Obviously I like painting green because orcs are green. I can instantly see every green I've got, every colour, shade and all the rest of it. And the other good thing is, again, if you've watched a lot of my videos, I'm a bit particular or a bit weird when it comes to mixing different brands of paint. As in, the main ones I use are Army Painter Speed Paints and Green Stuff World Dipping Inks. But I find it very difficult on one model to use paints from Army Painter and Green Stuff World. Don't ask me why, I don't know, it's just, I find it really weird. But with this system, I can't see what the bottle is. I can only see the very end of it. So now I will be able to get over this weird block of not being able to mix paints, and I'll be able to paint them. I know, guys, don't ask, it was very weird. So as you can see, taped up and dry brushed. Obviously the reason for doing this is how I'm going to paint the miniatures. So this is how I want to paint whatever it is, to show me exactly how this paint looks. Admittedly, these little buttons, they are obviously lots of flat areas, but when you see me come to paint each of these little connectors, I overdo it with the paint. I put a lot of paint on. So you are going to get some areas where it's going to be like almost one layer of it, and there are going to be some areas where there's going to be a lot more coverage. So even though these little things are mostly flat, you will be able to see the difference in some areas being really, really thick of the paint, whether it's the dipping inks or the speed paints. So basically, obviously now I'm going to go through every single colour I've got and paint the ends. So this is one of the first things I did with all these paints that I've got, is I painted the lid just so I could see exactly what colour it is. I have done some of the old like paint toppers or lid toppers. So I've done like ones where I've painted loads of orcs or loads of weird Buddhas. But obviously keep it simple, keep it easy. But as you can see, I do put on a lot of paint just so I can see how it looks when it goes into the recesses. Obviously it will be a lot darker there as opposed to, any other areas. So one thing I did change with this, and this is where I love Tinkercad, guys. Tinkercad is so easy to change bits and pieces. On some of them, the bottom rack, it didn't need to be as high as it was. There's like a bit of a gap at the bottom. And again, to try and save space and all the rest of it, I shortened the bottom layer of the whole racking system. Still enough room for me to sort of depress the little button so the paint comes out. But as you can see, it's not much. But again, on my desk, it just looks nicer. There's not that big gap underneath the bottom one. So Tinkercad, I messed about and I reduced the height. And there you can see, all the colours. So say instantly you can see exactly the shade of yellow, orange, red, blue, green, but whatever colour it is you need, they're all there instantly right in your face. And it just looks awesome. So on my desk, I want to obviously do a little corner piece. And again, Tinkercad. I love Tinkercad. I'm getting really good at, getting really good. Tinkercad, it's a free software. It's kind of limited in what it can do. But for basic shapes and bits and bobs, yeah, it's awesome. And again, if I can use it, anyone can use it. I will be leaving a link on my Patreon page to my Tinkercad, where I made all these additional bits and bobs. If you want to get hold of them. Again, very simple little creations, but yeah, just things like finishing touches to make this whole system and setup look a lot better. So for that corner bit, rather than it being like a wasted corner, yeah, this is where I'm now going to stick my, well, bits and bobs. My pencils, my pens, paint brushes, obviously, scissors, yeah, whatever I normally have on my desk that kind of gets in the way, it's going to go in that corner bit. And again, just to finish off the top, say the paint rack system, I'll leave the link down below. It doesn't come with the top bits. So these top bits I've made in Tinkercad. And yeah, I'll leave a link on my Patreon page to where you can sort of see the bits I've done. And because I'm going to leave a link to Tinkercad, it then means, well, you can tinker with it. So the last lid, obviously, again, trying to get everything nice and neat. I do like things nice and neat. Sometimes I'm a bit anal about the whole thing, but yeah, I do like things to have their own place. So these are little paint-in handles. Obviously, put the miniatures on the top. These do have magnets in, so I can put magnetized bits and pieces on the top. Yeah, they just got a little recess for them to go in. So something else, obviously, I was thinking about. This is going to be at the very edge of my desk, so it might not take too much to knock it off. So again, Tinkercad, I made up some little brackets. Again, that's my FDM printers. I am so in love with FDM printers. You can print these things off, so they're real snug, and they fit on there really well. I do put double-sided tape on these as well, just to make sure, again, another extra bit of safety so they're not going to fall off. And then you've got the front of it, so you can obviously see where everything sort of slides into each other. Again, I'm a very visual person. I used to be a graphic designer and I used to be a photographer, so I do like things looking nice and neat, as well as obviously working how they should. So yeah, Tinkercad made these simple little end sort of things, double-sided tape, Bob's your auntie, Fanny's your uncle, and all that rest of it. But yeah, again, this just finishes this thing off so much nicer, makes it look nice and neat, which is again something I need when I'm working. But if my area doesn't look nice and neat, yeah, I find it very difficult to work. Again, that's why I think I change these paint rack systems every now and then. It's a bit like moving the furniture around in your front room. Every now and then, probably every 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it is, you move things around and it makes everything feel fresher, nicer, neater. Talking of neater, yeah, this this cutting mat. The thing with cutting mats, they're there to get messy, to be cut up. I don't like it. After a while, again, it plays on my mind, and honestly, it can stop me from working at my desk. So every now and then, I need a new cutting mat. And obviously now I've got more room. Yeah, I bought myself an A2 cutting mat. I keep looking at. I want to try and get a cutting mat where I can put my logo and bits on. So guys, if anyone knows any companies that make cutting mats or personalised ones, where you can put logos and bits on, let me know, because I keep looking and, well, I can't find any. One last thing I wanted to do, again, this is just me being overcautious. If somehow I was able to knock this thing off my desk, or there was an earthquake and these all fell off, it would be a nightmare putting these or trying to match these back up with the shades of blue they are. So to make things easier, I'm doing a little marker or little number on each of the tabs, writing in the book. So if for whatever reason, myself or my children or whatever knock the paints, yeah, this is a nice easy way of, well, putting them back where they belong, because otherwise, well, it'll be a nightmare. And there we go. So yeah, this paint system, absolutely love it. And the fact that obviously you just got to push down on the tab, paint pops out a treat, is just awesome. And again, being able to visually see every single color, it's just awesome. And the fact that this thing is modular, so you can expand on it, which again I am currently doing. So I've got this front rack right in front of me on my desk, but to the side where I've got my screens, there's room underneath them. So I'm going to put more paints there. So this is all me dipping inks and my speed paints, and excuse the mess in the background. Yeah, absolutely love it. So guys, what do you think? The best paint rack out there? And again, it takes up very little room, which is just awesome. So I think it's going to be a while before I change up this paint rack system because, well, like I keep saying, it is just awesome. The fact it does take up minimal room, so I've got my desk back, as in I've got more room. be able to make things, which is great because I have got a big project that I've started and I run out of room on my desk to sort of build it, so I've got the room to sort of carry on with that one. And in fact, I just love the fact I can see every sort of paint real easy, what the colours are, and the fact I've finally mixed up my Army Painter paints and my Green Stuff World dipping inks all together, because I can't see the lid, so I can't really sort of see which one's which, is just great. So yeah, guys, big shout out and thank you to Elegoo for sending me the Neptune 4 Max or Plus printer. Absolutely awesome, worked really well. Had it going for about 2 days, printing loads and loads of stuff. You might be able to hear it because it's still going. So I'm printing more bits and pieces off, just because I love it. It's like FDM printing. Who knew that I would be such a big fan after using resin printers for the past 4 years? Anyway, I don't want to go down this route because I start waffling on and this video will be another 10 minutes long. But yeah, check out the links to them, as well as the links to the guy who made the original paint rack system. Really cool. And yeah, guys, if you want any of the extra bits that I've kind of like tinkered with in Tinkercad, yeah, they'll be over on my Patreon page. Guys, thanks for sticking around to watch the video to the end. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that wonderful stuff. Big shout out, thank you to all my lovely patrons for supporting the channel. Really does mean so much to me because it means I get to continue doing this full time, which is awesome. There's another video on the screen, guys. Give that a click, see more of what I do. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.